Okay, next steps. Let's go back to the example table. So what you can see here, you can see that with this data I have 10 trials or 10 groups for each of the 3 increments of surface area to volume ratio. So I have 10 data points. And what we've ended up with then is 10% volume diffused. And what I want to do is take the mean of those, so the average of these 10, and I want to show it in a merged cell like that. So effectively we're going to have, we had 3 different surface area to volume ratios, and we're going to have 1, 2, 3 different averages, means, mean volume diffused, and then we're going to do the standard deviation. So what we're going to need to do, I'm going to show you how to merge these cells and calculate the averages and standard deviations. So we'll do that over here, and then we're going to tidy up these decimal places. So these 10 cells right there, okay, the 10 cells that match up with the surface area to volume ratio of 6, I'm just going to highlight them and click on merge and center. And I'll do that for this block, merge and center. And let's see, for all of the 3s, got them, merge and center. And one more, bam. Okay, easily done, merge and center. Okay, so now what do we want in this cell? We want the average of these numbers, right? So it's fine, click on that cell, equals. Now we're going to use a formula in Excel, equals average, AV. As soon as you type AV, it'll give you some suggestions. You want the average, and so you click on average, and you see that it's got little brackets there. So what you're going to do now is highlight the cells that you want Excel to take the average of. So that would be from F4, click and drag all the way down to there, and then hit enter. Okay, now the way it did that, it did make it a little difficult because it just gave me that funny little screen there, but I was clicking and dragging in behind that. I'll see how that goes. Well, actually this time all I have to do is grab the little pull down thing, and it'll know, it's smart enough to know, oh, it wants me to do the average of these 10 and then the average of these 10. So I'm just going to click this thing, pull it down, and there we go, we have our averages. Okay. Now, standard deviation, you'll hopefully learn about standard deviation in class. I might, maybe on this screencast, I might do a really quick lesson on what is standard deviation, but it's a measure of the variability of the data, and so Excel's got a formula for it, makes it really easy for us, and believe me, you don't want to calculate standard deviations by hand. It's a really complicated formula. I mean, averages, you guys know how that works. Add all the numbers up, divide by the number of numbers, that gives you the mean or the average, fine. Standard deviation is quite a process. So watch this, equals ST, and there it is, STDEV, standard deviation. I'm going to click on that, there are my little arrows, and all I have to do is highlight the cells that I want it to calculate a standard deviation for, and those are the same 10 cells here. So here goes, click, drag to there, let go, hit enter, and there's my standard deviation. And again, you can pull this thinger down for those cells, and I'll just click on this cell to show you. Look what it did. If I look up here, equals the standard deviation F24 to F33. So that's right, these cells here. So it's smart enough to do that for us. So our data is officially processed. We need to tidy it up a little bit. One thing I'm going to do, I'm going to highlight these 6 cells. This is just jumping out at me. Highlight those 6, right click, format cells, and let's align those in the center. Let's put them in the center vertically so that they, it's just a little prettier. Okay. Now we have decimal point issues that we have to tidy up. So I'm going to look at our our surface area to volume ratio of 6 series first. So in this data series, I don't know how much you guys know about significant figures, but there is only one significant figure here, and so we have to stay true to that one significant figure. So I have to round this to one significant figure, and all of this data has to be rounded to the the same number of significant figures in my least precise measurement, and that's one significant figure. So all I'm going to do is highlight that series of 10 cells, and I'm going to decrease the decimal places. So there's 2, there's 1 decimal place. So that's now one significant figure. Okay, I can only be as precise with this volume that remained pink measurement as I was with my width measurement. I can't be more precise than this original raw measurement. Okay, so same thing here. I'm going to highlight these 10 cells, and I'm going to go bam, bam, 1 decimal place. This is a little bit more complicated because, I mean, I can reduce the decimal place. Maybe not. Let me just see here for a second. Boom, boom. No, I can't yet. Sorry, undo. And undo again. No, redo. Sorry, that's my bad. Okay. So in this group, what you need to do is do some rounding. And for that, we need to put the rounding function in the formula. So yes, I want Excel to do this calculation for me, but I want it to round it. So equals, I'm going to type the word round, okay, as a function. Now I need another set of brackets. So there's the open bracket, so to speak. And at the very end of the formula, I'm going to hit a comma, and I think it's -1, and then close the bracket. Now what -1 means is less than 1 decimal place. Okay, so if I say round and like 1, it'll round it to 1 decimal place. If I say round and a 2, it'll round it to 2 decimal places. I actually want it to round to the nearest tenth. Okay, so for example, 87.5 down here, I actually want that to be rounded to 90%. And 90 will give me, like, that 9 is significant, and that'll be my only significant figure there. And 90, 1 significant digit, will match up with the 1 significant digits that I have over here. Okay, so if I hit enter, I think that works. And then I can pull this down. Watch the 87.5s. They should change to 90s, and there they are. Okay. Now, it automatically made a change here because it's using these numbers in the calculation. But again, I need this mean to be rounded to 1. So this is a round bracket, and out here, comma, -1, close the bracket, enter. And so that 86% changed to 90. And I'm going to do the same thing to this standard deviation. I can only have, actually, I can just decrease the number of decimal places here, I think. So there, standard deviation of 5, and that's 1 significant figure. Okay. So that cleans up that data set. And down here, I hope this video isn't going too long, makes it hard to upload. Down here, in this series of measurements for the cube that has a surface area to volume ratio of 3, I actually have 2 significant figures, so I can afford 2 significant figures. So on this and this, in those series of cells, I can actually decrease there to 1 decimal place, gives me 2 significant figures. Okay, so I just decrease the number of decimal places there. In this one and in these over here, I need to do some rounding. And So I'm going to do that column by column. So I've got those 10 cells highlighted. I'm just going to update this formula. So after the equal sign, I'm going to type the word round, open up a bracket, go to the end, comma. Now, what do I need? Two significant figures. So I want it to round it to 0 decimal places. So I'm going to type a 0 and close the bracket. And actually it did that for just that one cell. So I'm going to pull that down, and there we go. Okay, so again, it rounded it to 0 decimal places, so the nearest whole number. And so 58, for example, that's two significant figures, matches up with these two significant figures. It's all good. I'll do the same thing with my average and standard deviation. Round, open the bracket, comma, 0, close the bracket, boom. And standard deviation, round, open the bracket, comma, 0, close the bracket, bam. Okay. Down here, you know what? I think I could have done the same thing. Which I might be able to use the little XL pull down autofill function, but I think I'm going to do it the hard way. Round and comma 0. Yeah. Wait, no, we didn't do that. I'm just going to undo that. Sorry, what we did here was we decreased the number of decimal places. We have to decrease the number of decimal places to no decimal places. That gives me two significant figures. So the 12 has two significant figures. 2.3 has two significant figures. We're good there. It's over here that I need to round. So round, bracket, comma, 0, good. And we can autofill that. And round on the standard deviation, comma, 0. And then last one, and I'll end this video, round, comma, bracket, comma, 0. Boom. Okay, there. We have our data processed. We've honored significant figure rules. We're almost done with this data table. We just got to pretty it up with some borders, I think, and then we can do the graph and the error bars. All right.